by the title, I will be doing a quick get ready with me slash, and I say quick, but it's obviously not gonna be quick because I'm gonna be talking, but get ready with me slash a little chit chat video about hair care, about having natural hairs, the pros, the cons, and also, you know, things that I wish I knew before I even had natural hair. So without further ado, let's get into this video. For those of you guys that are gonna ask me, girl, what is going on with your hair?
Look at the bitch braids.
A bunch of plaits going on, and with the hair. So for those of you guys that may or may not know, when I wear my natural curly hair, typically it's a braid out, a twist out, and then naturally it goes into the fro stage, okay? Because I'm one of those type of people, I'm typically doing protective styles and things of that nature. So you guys don't really see my natural curl pattern, and or you guys don't ever get to see that many styles. And the truth of the matter is, the reason why is because having type 4 hair, which is that hair that has shrinkage, that hair that the curls are super tight, the curls that once there's no product and no water in it, it is dry, it gets brittle, it gets rough looking, it gets poofy, and it just looks like blah. And especially if we have any type of different weather conditions outside of just being sunny or cold, babe, when we get any type of humidity or rain and things of that nature, then things just go left. So most people like myself that are natural girls that have not necessarily the loose curl but the tight curl, we typically revert to braids and twist out, braid outs, and things of that nature, sew-ins and kinky twists and regular twists and locks and quick weaves and things of that nature, so that we don't really have to deal with our hair as much. One of the things that I wish I would have known before I started being a natural girl is the less is better. Like, the less that you have to touch your hair, the less that you have to manipulate your hair, the less that you have to put product on it, the less that you know, have to have your hands in it, the better off your hair is. Like, the more you leave it alone, the longer your style will last, and the better the style is, honestly speaking. So like I said, I am going to take down these braids so you guys can see what it looks like after I've taken it down and how I get it to its nice big state. So I'm just going to add some oil. This is the New Look Garnier Fructis Sleek and Shine Anti-Frizz Serum with argan oil and from Morocco, sorry. And it's for frizzy, dry, unmanageable hair, instant sleek, and it's proven strength system. I'm just using this today because I don't really need a lot of oil, because my hair has already previous to now been oiled down and has product on it, this, that, and the third. I think this is probably day 6 of me having my hair out and being worn. So it has product on it and things of that nature, so I'm not trying to have a whole lot of product buildup, because the more products you do put on your hair, the more it begins to get limp and sticky and flaky and just too much, okay? So I'm gonna add some of this oil onto my hands. I know you guys can't see because of how I have the camera, but I'm literally adding that much, and that was maybe a dime size. And I'm just gonna rub it on the tips of my finger and through the base of my hand. I rub mine into my hand. It might be a little weird to some people, but you don't just use the tips of your fingers to take down braids. You also use your nails and things of that nature. So all of that can be coated. But anyway, also something else I wish I knew while being a natural girl, type 4 hair, extremely curly hair, I wish I knew that the shrinkage is real. Like, everybody wants to have curly hair, everybody wants to rock their curls, but after our hair dries, babe, like, you better have put something in it, and you better have not just allowed it to dry in its natural state, because in most cases, once it dries, however it dries, that's what it's gonna look like for a minute. Okay, so for those of you guys that are thinking about being natural, and you have extremely curly hair or type 4 hair, where your texture of your hair, of your curls are a little bit looser.
I don't know why I said
definitely
looser. I really meant tighter, but
that
y'all get the
you,
gist.
Keep in mind that after you wash your hair and before it begins to dry, do something of this nature. Put some braids in it, put some twists in it, put some scrunchies in it, and put it in different ponytails, but do not let it dry exactly how it is, because once it dries, like, there's no going back unless you put heat to it, okay? Or unless you begin to, stretch it out throughout the week or whatever. But for the most part, guys, don't just allow your hair to dry and think that because you used a non-shrinkage product, or because you didn't do certain things, that your hair is not going to shrink. Babe, it is, okay? If you have extremely curly hair, once it is dry, it will go right on back up, okay? And ain't nothing wrong with that. That's just a natural thing for our curls to be bouncy. And so what that means is, in most cases, once it springs back up, that's where it stays, okay? It holds its shape, it holds its curl. So keep that in mind for those of you guys that do your hair at home, or you're in that off season where you're not able to get to a stylist or whatever, and you're gonna do your hair at home and wear your natural hair out, and you decide, you know what, I'm not gonna put heat on it. Okay, cool, that's cute that you're not gonna put a blow dryer to or whatever. But at the end of the day, keep in mind your hair is gonna shrink, sis. If you do not do anything to it, it is going to shrink once it dries. So keep that in mind. Your hair might be long, you might have length, you might, have this, you might have that, but once it's wet, it does its thing, and then once it dries, babe, it's going back up, okay? So definitely twists, braids, ponytails, all of that stuff works as far as stretching your hair out, so that you do not lose the inches when you decide to style your hair because of shrinkage, okay? Tip number 2 that I have found that works for me, and I can't speak for everybody, but for me, with my extremely curly hair, I have realized that what works for somebody else might not work for you. You literally have to pay attention to, what works for your hair, and what your hair likes, what it doesn't like, what season it is. So weather plays a factor in whether the products work or not. If you're taking medication, how you're wearing your hair and things of that nature. So just because Shea Moisture and As I Am and My Ill and Camille Rose and things of that nature may work for somebody else, it might not work for you, okay? So pay attention to, the things that work in your hair and when they work on your hair, because what might work in the winter might not work in the summertime for your hair, okay? So keep that in mind. You will go through that phase where, just because it worked in one season, it might not necessarily work for your hair in another season, and that doesn't mean it doesn't work at all. That just means it doesn't work when it's cold out, or that doesn't mean that it won't work at all. That just means it doesn't work, when it's hot out, because you got humidity now, So keep that in mind. A lot of people tend to have different products for different needs. So if you have color treated hair, you might be using a different product than what you would normally use, because it might be color safe. So, you might use that when your hair is colored, but when it's not colored, you might use a different product. So you will eventually get to that point where you will have a lot of products. You won't just have a quick 1-2. You will have several products. So don't let that scare you that you won't be able to use the same product all the time for everything, because your hair, it has different needs. Okay? Just like your body. Sometimes, your skin might need extra hydration, sometimes it don't. In the summertime you might have to add a little bit more. Not summertime, but in the wintertime you might have to add a little bit more lotion and a little bit more oil. In the summertime, you might add just lotion and not oil, because you don't want to be out here like a grease ball. So keep that in mind. Just like you do for your skin, you have different products for your skin or your face and things of that nature. Same thing applies to your hair. Okay? Your hair changes just like your skin changes. And so sometimes, you grow out of being able to use a certain product and you have to get another one, or you change different things that you do to your hair, so you might need a different product, and that's completely okay. And understand that when you buy products as a curly hair girl, you have to pay attention to what you're buying it for. Okay, you have to read the labels. You have to read the ingredients. You have to think about what your hair needs before you just buy something. Don't just buy it because, everybody else has it and they have the same type of hair texture as you. And so, they got it, so let me get it. They said it's good, so let me get it. Because let me be honest, y'all, I have had so many trial and error moments with my hair, and the things that worked at one moment and the things that no longer work. There's so many products I used at the beginning stage that I no longer use anymore. So as you transition from being a relaxed girl, you might not need certain, products that you used to use because, your hair was badly damaged, or, your hair, the curls weren't popping like they should because, you didn't damage it out. So, you had to use more of the restorative stuff, and then as you, grow in your hair journey process, you might not necessarily need that stuff anymore. The curls might just pop now. Now you just might need to, hydrate it, moisturize it, those type of things. So keep that in mind, and get what works for you, not what works for everybody else, because like I said, there's a lot of stuff that other people use that, honey, it do not work for me. I don't know how y'all use it, but it don't work for me. And that's not to say it doesn't work for y'all, but it just doesn't work for me. There's so many people that stick to Aussie and Shea Moisture and As I Am and Design Essentials and Suave and Tresemme and so many different things that just simply don't do nothing for my hair. There's so many different curl, products and stuff that people do that just doesn't work for my hair. There's gels that people use that don't work for my hair. That stuff be flaking me out. And then, I've realized to test the products before I use them. There are some times where I will just go for it and be like, you know what? If it's a flop, it's just a flop, whatever, so be it. But there's a lot of times if you, and I've learned this through not even for my own hair, but I've learned this for other people as well. Like when you get products, especially when we mix and match different lines and different things of such sort, you have to test them out to make sure they actually work together. Sometimes your hair isn't flaky because, the products create buildup or anything like that. Sometimes your hair is flaky because you're using a leave-in conditioner and a gel that just simply don't mesh well. Like if you put those things on the back of your hand and you rub them in and they're not giving you that what do you want to call it? That melting vibe, and they don't like turn into a cream and just, be able to blend in and moisturize the back of your hand, and it becomes clumpy and stuff. Babe, when you put that stuff in your hair, you are going to have so many flakes and it's not even funny. So test those products out on your hand. Test how those feel. See if they're, lightweight or if they're super thick, if they leave your hand sticky, if they, aren't something that easily rubs in and things of that nature, because that is probably how it's going to be on your hair as well. So keep that in mind. Some of that stuff you need to buckle down on and use less of and stop using so much. I know, you might have a lot of hair or you might have thick hair, so you feel like you need a whole lot of products, which in most cases you do, but some products are thick enough where a little bit goes a long way. So keep that in mind. I know we laugh in the curly hair community when they say a dime size, but in some cases, depending on the product, you do only need a dime size. And a lot of times I see it a lot, and I do it sometimes myself, where we don't actually put the product in our hand. We put it directly on our head. And that's why you don't use a dime size because you're trying to slap it in, like you pour it into your hand, or some people just pour it directly in their head and they're wondering why they have to go through so much products. But if you actually put it in your hand, rub it on out, like you will be able to stretch that product on both hands and be able to put it through your whole entire head, as opposed to slapping it all in the middle of your hand and then doing one of these numbers and slapping it on your head. There's a reason why it's only going into the middle of your head and not working down to the rest. Also use a comb and a brush to work down to the ends of your hair. You don't have to drag every product down to your end of your hair and add so much for it to take. You can, stretch those products and allow it to coat from the root to the end by simply using your tools. Like, don't get me wrong, you can palm those things through your hand, which means, do the praying hand method where you put it in between your hands, rub it together, and, rub it throughout. But you can also use combs and brushes. They work too. I know a lot of people say, well, they take most of my product. They don't allow me to keep the product, but some of that product you don't need anyway. Think about if you left all that product in your head and it was weighing down your hair. Like, you might not need all that product. So it collects some of that excess product that you didn't really need, okay? Especially if you didn't evenly distribute it through your hair. So keep that in mind. Number 3 is condition your hair before you shampoo it, especially if you have super curly hair. It makes detangling a lot easier, but it also makes the lather and the shampooing process a little bit easier for you. And I know, like I said, I say for you, but I'm really speaking for me. This is the thing that I do, that I've discovered that works for me. But it also makes my hair a lot softer. And I don't know, it just hits different when I've conditioned before I shampooed and then shampoo and then do a deep condition. Like, I don't know why, but it works for me, okay? And I know a lot of people say, oh, I just use conditioner, I don't use shampoo. But sis, if you don't use shampoo, which is the thing that actually, gets the dirt out of your hair, and you're just adding moisture to your hair, then, like, what are you doing? Like, because really co-washing is for, those days where your hair's not super dirty and, you just need to get some moisture or something of that nature, and protein treatments and things of that nature. But at the end of the day, like, if you're never cleaning your hair, i.e. ever using shampoo, then you're never really cleansing your scalp the way that you're supposed to, and a lot of people, and I did that for somebody recently, they were like, oh, I couldn't comb my hair, or I can't shampoo my hair myself because it's so hard to do it because I have this thick curly hair, but it's also kinky curly, so I can't even get a comb through. Okay, so like I said, put some conditioner in your hair before you actually shampoo, and I promise you that the shampoo session will be less harmful and less time trying to get the comb through if you just simply put the conditioner in there. The conditioner is for the slip. The conditioner is to moisturize. The conditioner is, to hydrate and to, help with, making things a lot easier. As you can see, when you actually do the conditioning stage, it's a lot easier for you. So definitely, I recommend it for anybody that has super curly hair, kinky curly hair, that is like, I can't get a comb through my hair, or I can't wash my hair because it gets tangled. Not shampoo it, but condition it first before you shampoo it, condition it first. Get the conditioner in there like you normally would. Rinse your hair first and then put the conditioner in there, work it through. Take a comb through it, especially if you're a person that has had a protective style before washing your hair, braids or a sew-in or crochet, things of that nature where your natural hair wasn't done. It was in a style to protect your natural hair. Definitely, especially for my girls that leave their braids and twists and things of that nature for months at a time, not a month and a half or anything like that. I'm talking about like those that go 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, half a year with a hairstyle and they haven't washed their hair in so long, and you go to shampoo your hair and you can't get a comb through, or you can't even shampoo it properly because it begins to get super tangled. It's because you ain't combed your hair in forever. It's because your hair has been in a state that with your curly hair, it has been able to mold into however it was for that amount of time. Think about it. If your hair is a certain way for months at a time, and your natural hair is already at that state where it holds whatever it is once it dries. If your hair is dry and you have braids for forever, it's a no-brainer that at the end, when it's time to take it down, it's going to be a lot of work to get through it because it's just been sitting there. It's been collecting shedded hair for that amount of time. When your hair is being braided and twisted up and things of that nature to protect it, at some point in time, it needs to be taken down and refreshed and combed through so that, it doesn't have buildup of not only product, but shed hair. Your hair sheds every day. So if your hair sheds every day and you haven't combed through that so you can get rid of that shed hair, then over months that stuff piles up and becomes a mat after a while. Okay, so do yourself a favor and stop ripping your hair out by trying to, automatically shampoo after those protective styles, and condition your hair first before you shampoo it. I promise you it'll make the job a lot easier. I promise you. Also, after I condition my hair and then I will shampoo it twice, I don't do another conditioner. I just do deep condition after that. I don't fit it, like I've already done the conditioning stage. If that works for you to condition, then deep condition, do your thing. But for me, that's overkill, okay? I've already executed the conditioning process before I even shampooed my hair, so I don't need to put another conditioner on it. I'm just going to go straight into a deep condition, which, will help restore anything that has been lost after I shampooed my hair, okay? And there's nothing wrong with that. A lot of people be like, oh, I don't use shampoo because it strips your hair of this, that, and the third. Okay, well, that's where the condition comes from. When you do the conditioners and the deep conditioners, that restores anything you would have lost by cleaning your hair. And another thing that I've learned is shampoo is really for your scalp and your roots. It's not even for the ends of your hair. Now, so you shouldn't sit there and focus on trying to get the lather through all your hair. Honestly speaking, you should be focusing more on your roots and your scalp. And when I say roots, obviously I'm talking about the beginning of your hair. And in hair school, we learned that it's a little bit more than that. But since that's a term that everybody uses and that's familiar with, that's what we going with, okay? So shampoo, you're really working it in, cleaning your scalp and cleaning the top of the beginning of where your hair starts, of all the buildup from products and things of that nature. And then when it comes to conditioner, that's when you're focusing on the ends of your hair, which is the most intricate part of your hair, because that's the part that has been, out of your scalp for the longest, which means that's the most brittle. That's the most quickly and easily damaged, the weakest part of your hair. So then you focus that conditioner into it because it's been stripped, okay? You shampooed your hair, so it's been stripped of, its food to make it, stronger. So then you go in with your deep condition or your conditioner, if that's what you choose to do, and, you restore that. So you focus on the ends, and then you work it down or whatever by way of comb or a brush or whatever the case your process may be. If you want to do the praying hands method and get it in there, or if you just decide that you want to work it finger to tangle, that works as well. But yeah, definitely deep condition. I deep condition every time I wash my hair. And I wash my hair like every 2 weeks, or once a month, or once every other month, depending on what style I have in my hair. A lot of people might be like, ew, that's gross. You're supposed to wash your hair XYZ. You wash it as much as you feel like you need to wash it due to whatever hair condition you have, or, whatever texture or style that you have. But for me, when I have my hair in protective styles, I'm not even putting product in it. Like, the product buildup comes from my edges, because I do my edges every day. But as far as, and of course, we use the edge controls and things of that nature on our edges. So over time, it builds up or whatever. But anyway, when it comes to me doing my braids or twists or sew-ins and things of that nature, the only thing that is in my hair is leave-in conditioner, which has been blow-dried and meshed into my hair, heat protectant, which has been blow-dried and meshed into my hair, and oil. Like, I don't put any products on my braids. None. Or I'm lying to you guys. I actually put wrapping lotion or mousse on my hair to refresh my braids every, so often when it starts looking retarded. But other than that, I don't put no gels or things on my hair. After I've already braided my hair and incorporated that into my parts so that, things are sleek and in there, I'm not adding that no more. Like, I'm not. I might do it to the perimeter for my edges, but other than that, I don't put no product in my hair once my hair is braided up. I don't put any product in my hair once, I have a sew-in or a quick weave or crochets or anything like that. That's it. The only thing that goes in my hair, and it's not going in my hair, it's going in my scalp, is oil. And, that's it. So when it comes to the whole takedown process, I don't have a whole lot of issues trying to take down my braids, because for one, I've been able to keep it hydrated because I've been using oil in my hair, but also I haven't added any extra product that's going to build up in my hair and cause it not to be able to be detangled. So that's another thing to keep in mind when you guys have those hairstyles and stuff that are protective. Stop putting extra product on it once you've already have it in a style. Leave it. All the buildup should be at your edges, because of edge controls and gels and things of that nature to slay the edges. But outside of that, there's no reason to be putting leave-in conditioner and moisturizers and things of that nature in your hair once it's already styled in a protective style. That's crazy. Now, if it's a natural hairstyle, that's different. But if you have your hair in some type of weave extension or wigs and things of that nature, why are you putting extra products on it, sis? Leave it alone, okay? I ain't never seen nobody put no moisturizer on braids and things of that nature when it's weave braids. Like, cause what are you doing? Leave it alone. If you depending on who did your hair and how they did your hair, it should be good. Like, you shouldn't have to add anything to it. Maybe to refresh it once it's been in there for a long time, you might need to get those flyaways slicked down or whatever. But yeah, other than that, there's no reason why you should be adding extra product to any type of protective style if it has to do with you adding any type of hair to it. So yeah. Also, when you have product in your hair, that's when you should run a comb through it. If you do not have product in your hair, I don't recommend putting any type of comb brush through it unless you put product in it. And when you put product in it, if your hair is super curly like mine, type 4, 4C, 4B, A, whatever the case may be, or extremely curly, whatever you want to call it. You definitely want to comb your hair when you have conditioner in it, when it has slip. You want to comb it when you have in leave-in conditioner. You want to comb it when it's wet, because that's easier to comb. When it gets dry, you start becoming that person that you're breaking your own dang hair. Because at the end of the day, it wasn't meant to be combed dry unless you have product in it. And when you put product in it, add water so that it's easier to comb through. When your hair is wet, it's easier to comb and it's easier to add the product versus on dry hair. You got to force it to, get down in there and force it to be able to get down throughout your whole entire strand of hair, as opposed to when it's wet, it just glides on. Okay, so keep that in mind. Put all the products that you want to put on it while it's wet, not when it's dry. Leave-in conditioners and serums for blowouts and flat irons and things of that nature. Like the mist is cool and the serums are cool for a shine after too, but for the initial blow dry and things of that nature, put the products on your hair while it's wet. First of all, it's going to be easier to go through, but also so that it's just not sitting on your head. You want that stuff to get into your cuticles and things so that it actually traps in. Once your hair is dry, it's a wrap. It's just going to sit on the outside of your hair. So do that. Also, something else that I've learned to stretch my hair. I didn't know anything about that. When I first started being natural, I was just like, oh my god, every time I do my hair, I'm gonna have a short style because my hair is gonna shrink. There's nothing I can do about that, so I'm just not gonna wear my natural hair. So then I got into stuff like this, wearing braids and things when I go to sleep, so that when I put on my bonnet or my scarf, or when I go to sleep, it's not gonna be on the back of my head like somebody slapped me in the back of my head. Keep that in mind for those girls that don't like to have a whole lot of shrinkage, or to have a mat of hair because you forgot to do something to your hair before it dried, and so now you stuck with that and trying to manage that. No, do something to your hair while it is wet so that as it dries, it's not going to be hard for you to manage in the long run. Put some braids in it. Put it in some twists. Put it, in a ponytail or whatever the case may be, so that at the end of the day, if your hair does dry, the roots of your hair aren't sitting smashed down to your head, and when you wake up, that's what you look like. So keep that in mind. I started this new thing where I started putting my hair in ponytails when I wear my hair in froze. At night when I go to sleep. I don't make my parts super clean, because why? I'm not trying to have this nice harsh line of where I parted my hair to be in my fro when I wake up the next day, because I'm going to pick it out. So I don't want to have to keep trying to cover up parts and things of that nature, which you will have to cover up a few parts, but it's a lot easier if your parts aren't straight or uniform. I will do all types of zigzag parting and things of that nature because it's easier to blend together. So keep that in mind as well. Also, the thicker your hair, the smaller the parts need to be. The smaller the braids, the smaller the twists, to make your hair dry properly, but also so that when you do take down, it's not just one big curl or wave, and then when you separate it, it doesn't get poofy, because at the end of the day, the smaller the twist or the braid, the better the definition when you take it out. Don't get me wrong, I know some people like the bigger curls and things of that nature, which is cute and cool for those that it works for, but for me personally, my hair is too thick to have just 4 plaits or 4 twists at night or 6 twists at night. I have to do more. And when you have thicker hair and you have tighter curly hair, you do have to put in a little bit more work to, get the definition that you want. But also, you will have to spend that time to twist and braid down, when you are going to do, the aftercare of however your hair is styled after the fact that you have styled it. Like, you will have to put in the work. It's not just, oh, I put these products on my hair and I woke up and my hair was a nice loose curl and that's all it is to it. A lot of people won't tell you that. Most cases when we, have certain hairstyles, it looks like, oh my God, their hair is super defined. But sis, we didn't just wake up like that. I promise you, we didn't. In most cases, it's a twist out, it's a braid out, it's a perm rod set, it's a roller set, it's a flexi rod set, it's bantu knots and things of that nature. When you have the tighter, curlier hair, our curls, we have to make them more defined, but also we have to put in the extra work to manipulate it to the curl that we want. Because our natural curl is cute, there's nothing wrong with it, but in most cases, we like the bigger curls. We like the looser look to our curls and not necessarily that tight look, because it just makes it looks a little different, which, as you grow and mature in your hair journey, you will learn to, in most cases, just accept whatever curl pattern you have. And whether or not you work with it sometimes and allow it to be at its natural state, or sometimes, you manipulate it to be a little bigger or a little bit more stretched or a little bit more fuller than what it normally would have been at its natural state. There's nothing wrong with that, but you have to learn to just do what works for you. Because what works for you might not work for everybody, but at the end of the day, you get to a place where it's like, I don't have to cut my hair because it's not given. It's not given the looser curl. It's not given the defined look. It's not given the longer hair strands. It's not giving the full look that I want it to give, because my natural hair won't do that, which everybody's hair will do it. I promise you. Like, nobody, unless they have a looser curl, in most cases, somebody wants either a tighter curl or a looser curl, depending on their natural hair state. So it's not just you that wants to change your hair texture or whatever, but don't refer to, all of those harsh methods to get what you are looking for. You can get that same wavy pattern if you would have done a braid out. You could get that same, looser curl if you would have done a twist out or a bantu knot or whatever the case may be, or a flexi rod set. You can get that same look without having to, get a texturizer or things of that nature. You can loosen your curls without having to put harsh chemicals in them to make it stay like that for the rest of your life. You can, add different products that will loosen up the curls. You can add different products that will lessen the shrinkage. But at the end of the day, you just got to know what you're doing. And in order to know what you're doing, you got to do your research. Anybody that decides to transition, I have learned my lesson. Research is your best friend. YouTube is your best friend. Now, granted, like I said, what works for somebody else might not work for you, but you learn different things here and there. I listen to more people that are licensed stylists on YouTube versus somebody that woke up today and decided to go natural. So, and don't get me wrong, a lot of them know what they're talking about as well, because there's some things that salon people won't tell you, because at the end of the day, they're able to have the higher end project. It's in their budget to be able to spend an arm and a leg for a flat iron, so they can afford it, so this is what they use. But for those that don't work in a salon or aren't privileged to the things that are on salon shelves, I can't talk, we have to go to the Walmarts and the Krogers and the Sally's and things of that nature, and get those less potent products to get our hair how we want it. But there's nothing wrong with that. There are good products. everywhere you go. It doesn't have to be, an arm and a leg for you to get a good product. The products that I use, they cost almost $20 for them individually, but in most cases, they last me forever. And when I say forever, obviously I don't mean literally forever, but they last me a good amount of time. I get the things that are in the big jars and the, bigger bottles as opposed to the trial sizes. Now, I will do the trial sizes or the smaller sizes if I'm just trying out a product to see if it works, or if I'm just using it as a product to be used because I'm going to wash and blow dry my hair and then put another protective style in and not actually do my hair. So that happens a lot. Like, I have a mini leave-in conditioner bottle, and that lasted me quite a bit. I literally just ran out of it last week, and I've had my hair back out for like a month and a half, 2 months now. So, or a month and some change, because it ain't been 2 months, obviously. February ain't rolled that far. But anyway, y'all get what I'm saying. So, yeah, definitely look into, the type of curl that you are trying to achieve, and look at alternative methods. Sorry it's taking me a long time to take down my braids, but my thumbnail broke, like, close down to the bed of my nail. So, and that probably wasn't even the proper term, but y'all know what I mean, like, further down where it starts to hurt, because that's where your nail attaches to your skin. So yeah, it's kind of hard to take down my braids like I normally would, which is with my thumbnail, because I don't have one on that thumb, and that's my dominant thumb to do everything with. But bear with me, y'all. But hopefully this is an informational video for some people that are thinking about going natural, or is natural, and you are trying to figure out, like, why your hair won't do certain things, or if it's just you experiencing those things, or if it's just your hair type. No, it happens to the best of us. It happens to the best of us trying to figure out what works. It happens to the best of us when we be like, oh my God, these products are super expensive, I can't afford to be natural. And, you're sitting there thinking about whether you want to go back to being relaxed, or if you should stay natural. Or if you want to buy a wig or something because you can't keep up with your natural hair. And it happens to all of us. You think that, people just wake up and put a leave-in conditioner or just throw some water on and walk out the door and their hair is just pretty curly. Absolutely not. Unless they have that loose curly hair, then that's cool for them. But for us, kinkier, curly, tighter curly hair women, we don't just put water and walk out the door. We have to add a product of some sort. And then we also have to, add a little bit more product than just, a dime size in most cases. And not with shampoo and conditioner, because we already know that the dime size don't work for nobody when it comes to shampoo and conditioner. But at the end of the day, I'm talking about like oils and things of that nature, because our hair is so thick, we have to add a little bit more of it. But like I said, if you try putting it in the palm of your hand and rubbing it together before applying it, it'll stretch a little bit more than it used to for you. What else is something to let you guys know about something I didn't know about curly hair? You don't comb it and brush it as much as people like to think you do. When you're natural, you don't use those tools that often. I use my pick more than I use actual comb and brush. I use my fingers more than I use my comb and my brush. It works a lot better, but it also doesn't cause as much frizz, and it doesn't, disturb, whatever style I have going on. So I use my pick for the most part. At first, when I first became a natural girl, I didn't like picks because it made my hair super frizzy sometimes, because I would overpick. And sometimes when my hair is super defined and I begin to separate it, I will separate it too much. And so I started getting upset to even, style the hair. I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna throw it at the ball now because I don't like it now. But you learn that over time, the pick is your best friend for those that like volume and that love to not have that flat is sitting on top of my head like a mop look. Okay. For those that like that look, keep doing what you're doing. But for those of you guys that are wondering how people get the big fluffy froze or the big puff balls or the big twist out and braid outs and bantu knots and things of that nature, and it doesn't just look like it's sitting on top of their head, but it's actually full, this thing. Like, you go into your roots and you can either pick up or you can just go in there and give it a good yeah, both of them are up. I don't know why I was about to think that it, like, some people just do this, and some people pick up and out, which it just depends, honestly. I do whatever works for me, but I focus more on the roots. I don't focus on the ends. Sometimes, depending on the length of your hair, you'll end up picking, like, it'll actually end up coming through, or you're actually end up doing more than just the root because your hair is so short. I went through that stage. It happens. That stage, I don't know why I said stage. It happens to the best of us. Sometimes I'll go in with my fingers and just, get my hair up off my head. So it's up to you, but like I said, if you're looking for that fuller look, nobody just wakes up that way. Sorry to spoil alert. Yeah, when you come into the natural hair community, you will realize that everybody uses a pick. And if they don't use a pick, it's because they stretch their hair with some type of rubber band or some type of braid or twist or whatever the case may be. Or, they sleep with their hair in a pineapple, which means they just bring all their hair to the top and then wrap their scarf around, and that's how they sleep. So none of their hair really gets smashed in the sleeping process. So yeah, if you're looking to figure out how women get those big froze or how they get, the big full look after having a twist out or braid out and things of that nature, because a lot of people think that we just undo our hair and then it's just super big. And as you can see, my hair is not as big as it could be because it's super deformed, or not deformed but defined. And so I haven't even separated my hair, and this is what it looks like. So, imagine when I separate it and when I use my pick. When you separate it, you can separate it as much or as little as you want, and understand that frizz is okay. You just don't want it to be too much, if that makes any sense. Like, you're going to get frizz regardless. I don't care how much oil you put on your hands. I don't care how much product you put in it. I don't care how good your twist out or your braid out was. I don't care how great you wrapped your hair. I don't care, how much you put into, styling your hair. At some point, your hair is going to get frizzy. That's just what comes with it. From the clothes that you wear, so your hair is going to snag on it, from, the style that you put in it, and the weather playing a huge part in having to deal with humidity and things of that nature. It might not frizz as much if you do all those other things that you do, but it's still going to frizz. So as a curly hair girl, you get used to frizz. You want to reduce as much as possible as the frizz as you can, but at the end of the day, you're never really going to get to a point where there's no frizz at all, especially if you're going to use a pick. You're going to get some type of frizz. It might not be as much, but you're going to get a little frizz. And there's nothing wrong with that. Actually, the frizz is what helps us with the volume, especially at the base of your hair. When you put that pick in there and you go against the root or whatever, you're causing fruit at the beginning. Like, you're literally doing what non-colored people do, or non-textured hair people do anyway, which is they tease their hair. That's basically what we're doing, Loki. We're just not doing it intentionally, by raking the hair down, but we're actually pulling the hair up, and we're literally teasing it at the end if you don't even realize it. So for those that are going to come for me and be like, no, we don't, we're doing the same thing. We just do it in reverse. Okay, so yeah, that's really what we're doing, but we're not intentionally working it down to create the volume. We're actually pulling it up to create the volume. So keep that in mind when you're thinking about what you're actually doing to your hair when you're using a pick. That's what you're doing, okay? So in doing that, you will get a little frizz because you're literally pulling your hair to the end to get the volume at the base. So you're literally, don't get it twisted, you're putting the pick in and pulling out, but when you pull out, you don't come all the way out of your hair. Like, you don't pull it all the way down to the end and then pull the pick throughout the end of your hair. You literally just pull it out. You pull it out sideways, if that makes any sense. So yeah, you're picking all your hair to the end, but you're not going to actually pull it through the end. You're going to actually just pull it out. So technically you're teasing your hair just like white people do, okay? So you're not any different from them. You just do it in reverse, okay? We have the same method, it's just in reverse. What else was I gonna say? But yeah, so what else can I share with you guys that I've noticed? Oil. There's oils for different things, different needs. Find the oil that works for you, that fits your needs. If you're a person that needs to add certain things to your hair, read into it when you go pick up these oils. Don't just pick up some oil because it says oil on it and because it has a spout or a dropper in there and say that's what I need. Because if it's not going to benefit you in the ways that you need it to benefit your hair, don't pick it up and buy it. Stop buying things because it goes along with the collection. Stop picking up things because it goes along with the brand. If that doesn't work for you, find you something that works for you. But also read so you can figure out if it works for you or not. Stop just picking up stuff because it's on sale, because it goes along with a certain line that you already use, because, of the collection it came a part of. Like, find the oil that works for you. Same thing with shampoos and conditioner. When you are a natural girl, you realize very quickly that we mix and match a lot of stuff, and people don't even realize it. Like, we mix and match a lot, and there's nothing wrong with that. In order for your hair to get its fullest potential, you do not have to use the whole entire line, because there's some cases where you might run out of something on that line and might have to revert to something else. Or you might not be able to afford the whole line all at once, because in most cases, things separately cost a pretty penny. So you might not be able to afford the shampoo, conditioner, the moisturizer, the leave-in, the deep condition, the oil that comes with it, the curling custard and things of that. You might not be able to purchase all of that all at once. So be okay with mixing and matching product lines, but also not being afraid to use them not in the order that they're supposed to, because like I said, you will have those times where you can't afford the whole line. You will have those times where the whole line might not work for you. You might have times where there's a deep conditioner from another brand that works better than the line that you use. So be okay with mixing, matching products, but also being okay with not having to use the whole line and not feeling guilty about it. Because, sis, you don't have to buy the whole line. Pick what works for you out of that line and find you something else to work, okay? Especially when it comes to shampoos and conditioners and deep conditioners and oils and curl gel and things of that nature. Sometimes the whole line doesn't work for you, And that's completely fine. That doesn't mean the line doesn't work for you. That just means that particular product from that line does not work for you, and that's completely fine. Like, and it's normal. Because sometimes, our hair requires something more than what that product from the line will give, and you just gotta find you something else. And ain't nothing wrong with that, sis. Also, figure out what works better for you when it comes to your oils. For me, I like the ones that have the dropper on it, because I can easily distribute it through my part and not have to forcefully put it into my scalp by way of rubbing it into my scalp to make sure that it covered everything. I can actually just drop it through and then just rub it through so that it's just not sitting on my scalp. Or some people like, the oils that come in the bottle with the spout that they can pour in their hand and work it through. Whatever works for you, okay? But just find you a good oil. Find you a good oil, find you a good shampoo, find you a good conditioner, find you a good deep conditioner, find you a good leave-in conditioner. And understand, again, they don't have to all come from the same brand, the same line. And they don't even have to be in the same family. All of them can still work for your hair and not be in the same family. Just because you like Camille Rose doesn't mean everything from that specific line on Camille Rose might not work for you. Because there are certain products that I've gotten from her that I use products from different lines that she has. And they all work. But, like I said, everything works differently for everybody. So figure out what works for you. If you don't know what works for you, like I said, test it out. Don't just be that person that tries it one time and there's like, oh, I don't like it. Try it in different ways. Maybe, the conditioner might not be good by itself, but if you condition before you shampoo, that might be your pre-poo or shampoo, whatever you want to call it, conditioner. It might just be good for detangling your hair before you shampoo it. It might just be good for slippage. It might just be good for when you want to do a leave-in conditioner. I don't know. Whatever works for you, but figure out why it works for you so that you can figure out when you need to use it and how you need to use it. But give all products a chance to work, because I guarantee you, sometimes those products actually end up coming back around full circle for you. Like, I used to faithfully, use a few lines back when I first started being natural. But the more my curls developed and the longer my hair got, I had to start using other stuff. The more I start using dyes and things of that nature to do my hair, I also had to change the products because I had colored hair. So there were some product lines that didn't have stuff for colors safe hair, so I had to find another line. Or, they had one product that I was using that may not be color safe. So I had to change to a different product on that line so that I can actually make sure that I'm attending to my needs while I'm a colored girl. So all of that stuff plays a role, especially if you're a person that's like, I don't normally color, or I don't normally put heat, or I don't never normally blow dry or flat iron, but you decide to do it that one time. Have that stuff on hand as well. In those cases that you do those things, you can have the products that's tailored for that style. There are products that I use when I want to be a curly girl, and there's products that I use when I am just going to do a protective style on my hair and I'm not focused on my curls being defined or being super sleek and cute and things of that nature. So I will get things that are more tailored toward the health of my hair versus the curl of my hair, if that makes sense. Because there are stuff that make sure that your hair is defined, or they make sure that your hair is properly hydrated and moisturized and things of that nature for when you have curly hair. But there's also products that you can use for when you're gonna just blow dry it. Like, why are you wasting your time putting curling custard or mousse and things of that nature in your hair when you're about to heat style your hair? Sis, that ain't gonna do you no good, because you're not even about to define your curls. So why are you putting that in your hair? You're about to literally blow it dry. So now I just need to worry about things that are going to protect my hair from heat, as opposed to keep my hair curly. I need to look at things that will help me straighten my hair. So keep that stuff in mind as well. Also, your hair does shed. It has nothing to do with your hair being broken. It has nothing to do with your hair being damaged or things of that nature. Hair just naturally sheds. So never be like, oh my God, I can't do this anymore because when I combed my hair, there was some hair in the comb. Babe, there's always going to be hair in the comb. And if there's not hair in the comb, there's going to be hair on your shirt. If there's not hair on your shirt, there's going to be hair on the ground. If there's not hair on the ground, there's going to be hair in the sink. If there's not hair in that, there's going to be hair in the brush. Like, there's always going to be hair somewhere from off of your head. Why? Because every day your head sheds a certain amount of pieces of hair every day. Okay, because you can't keep all of that hair on your head and not think any of it is not going to come out. Because once it grows from out of this thing right here, out of this scalp right here, and it starts to get further away from your scalp, that is now considered living hair. It is dead, okay? Anything that is not still in the scalp is dead, okay? And the further it gets from your head, it needs more attention, okay? So keep that in mind, and knowing that, okay, I'm combing my hair, but there's hair coming out. That's because it's getting rid of the old stuff, making way for new stuff, okay? Like, it can't stay there forever. So keep that in mind as well, ladies, when you comb your hair and you're like, oh my God, I gotta find a product that makes me not lose hair. Babe, you're always gonna lose hair for the rest of your life. Now, it might take down how much hair you lose, absolutely. And how often you lose hair, absolutely. But will you still lose hair for the rest of your life? Absolutely. And not saying you're going to lose hair in chunks, but you're going to lose hair in little bits and pieces throughout your day, throughout your month, throughout your years on this earth. So don't be ever afraid that your hair comes out, not in the sense of like in patches or in balls, but I'm just saying just in general. Like, you find a strand of hair that came off your head, like, babe, that's normal, okay? Your hair is going to shed, regardless of whether you didn't do braids, if you did a protective style or not, if you didn't touch your hair or not. Babe, if you put a comb in there, if you put your fingers in there, at some point in time, whether you see it wholeheartedly or not, you're going to have some hair that leaves your head every day. Trust me. You do. Google it if you don't believe me. Your hair sheds every day. It's not just, oh, when I put my hair into braids. Now, when I comb through to detangle my hair after taking my hair down for braids, now it's going to shed. No, boo. It shedded way before you even put the braids in there, okay? So keep that in mind. Never let shedded hair scare you. The amount of shedded hair should scare you, but not that it sheds at all shouldn't scare you, okay? Because everybody's head sheds. It's not just a you thing. It's not, my hair is damaged so it sheds. No, your hair is going to shed regardless of whether it's in good condition or bad condition, okay? Now, how much of it can tell you what type of condition it's in. And then you can, pick products and do things to help lessen that. But at the end of the day, you're not going to stop your hair from ever shedding. Like, it's going to shed something. That's just like weave. Just because it doesn't shed as much doesn't mean it's not going to shed at all. Oh, it's curly hair, so I know it's going to shed. Or, oh, it's straight hair, so I know it's not going to shed. No, boo, your hair's still going to shed. It's just not going to shed as much. You're still going to get a strand or two throughout the day. You're still going to get a strand or two at some point in time while you have that hair in your head. So this is what my hair looks like. Completely taken down. And like I said, it's not as full as it normally is. Why? Because I haven't even picked it or separated it. I'm lazy, so I don't really separate my hair that much. And here are a few defined ones that I found. The reason why my hair looks like this at the end is because my hair has been dyed and it has been bleached up until that point. So a lot of it is frizzy and may look dry and brittle and discolored or whatever. That's because that's the oldest part on my head. So literally at one point in time I did bleach my hair, and at one point in time I did dye my hair to the point of no return. So it looks a little fragile because it is. So don't look at that part, okay? Yes, I know it looks frizzy. Yes, I know this, that, and the third. And your hair is damaged and this, that, and the third. I don't use that much heat on my hair. Actually, I just broke my blow dryer like a couple months ago. So I haven't blow dried my hair in a good little minute. So yeah, it ain't because of blow dryer. But it is because of color damage, and not because I colored my hair, but because when I did color my hair, at one point I did bleach it. So there's going to be some type of damage. You just can bet on it. Because I did bleach it blonde. So there you go. When you do have blonde hair, for those that are wondering, it's not a bad thing to ever have blonde hair, but your hair is a little bit more fragile when it's blonde than any other color, because that bleach really dries you out, okay? So you do want to put oils and things and really focus on those parts of your hair that you have bleached, because it's going to be brittle, it's going to be dry, and if you don't take care of it, it's going to eventually break and start looking a hot mess. So once it gets looking to this state, I do not recommend that you keep it. Cut it over time, and then eventually it'll come out. As you guys can see, it's way down here now, as opposed to on being at the root of my hair, because it has grown out. So I cut it over time, so that's why you see me, it looks terrible at the ends, but at the root and everything else, it looks perfectly fine, which it happens. I'm that person where I cut my own hair, I do my own hair, so I don't get it cut as much as I could or as much as I should, because I just simply don't feel like sitting there actually doing it sometimes, so I just do it over time. But if you're a person that does have a stylist, or does, pay to get their hair done because somebody else does it, get your hair trimmed as much as you need to, sis. They say, you're supposed to trim it XYZ amount of times, but if you feel like, your hair is damaged, getting damaged a little bit more, or you feel like, you're at that point now where you're like, what, get as much off as possible, then get it cut, sis. Get it trimmed, okay? At some point in life, you're gonna have to get rid of that old hair, okay? Regardless of how long you decide to take to get it off, eventually you need to take it off. So little bit by little bit works, but if you're that person that doesn't mind, going full throttle and taking the whole thing off, do your thing, sis. But it's never a bad idea to get your hair trimmed, ever. There isn't a real, like I said, they say a certain amount of time, but people's hair grows differently. People's hair gets damaged due to different things that they do, a little bit more or a little bit less. So what applies for somebody else's routine haircut number or routine haircut time might not work for you. You might just decide to get your hair cut once a year, once every 2 years, whatever. You might not do much to your hair, might not be as damaged as much, and you might be a person that just doesn't like to get your hair cut, okay? Whatever. So, like I said, I cut my hair. I do my own hair, so for me, it takes a little bit longer for me to get this stuff cut off, but eventually it does get cut off. And for those that have seen pictures or videos of me before now, you would have seen that my hair was a lot longer and a lot fuller than it is now, because I actually had that hair on my head. But over time it got damaged and it had to get cut little bit by little bit. So I do it little bit by little bit, but if you're that person that can do it, go ahead and get it all chopped off, like as much as possible. Why hold on to hair that looks like this? Like, why? What are you missing, sis? What are you holding on to? This stuff really could go. I just haven't cut it yet because I ain't had time. Plus, I love to dye my hair, so if I'm gonna keep dyeing it anyways, I might as well, cut it off slowly but surely, but also not be in a rush to cut all of it off, because I don't want to have to damage new hair if I don't have to. So yes, I dye this hair too, but all of the bleach parts are at the end. So any of the colors that I want to be super like bold and bright, I do toward the end. All the other stuff I just do to the roots. But it's also, I do a lot of semi-permanent. That's another thing I want to throw in there for those of you guys that are wondering how I get the colors that I get. I use the L'Oreal highlight color. You can find it at Sally's or a hair store anywhere. It's in the hair dye section. It comes in a little tube in a box. It says L'Oreal, and then it says highlight color. You can either do the permanent or a semi-permanent, but those do not require you to bleach your hair. You just use peroxide, or not peroxide, I'm sorry, developer. I don't know why I said peroxide. I don't know what I was thinking about. It sounded good, but developer. And you can use whatever volume you like, but you just use developer, and then it gets you to the color that you want to get. And that is for the people that do not have bleached hair, that is striving to get a bright, vivid color without tearing up their hair or having to use bleach. You just use peroxide. Why do I want to keep saying peroxide? You just use developer, and then you just use that. You squeeze that in there. It comes in a little tube. It's super thick. So you add the developer in there, little bit by little bit. Stir it up. When it gets to the consistency you like, then you just add it to your hair. Me personally, I only add a little bit of it. I don't do the whole ratio mixing. I eyeball it. Maybe that might be a colored part of me, but hey, I don't have the patience to sit there and get my little beaker and put one of this to one of this, stir it up, put a little bit on my hair, and then keep doing that. I don't have the patience, okay? I put the whole dang tube in there, and then add a little bit of developer as I need to, stir it up. Once I get to the consistency that I want, which to me, as long as it's the consistency of lotion, which is runny but still a little thick, then I'll use it. But if it's still thick, I'm not going to add that to my hair unless I don't want to use developer. There are cases where I don't really care about all that, and I'm cool with the dark color, so I will just add the cream to my hair. It comes out in a cream paste, so I will just add that directly onto my hair, and it still gives me color. There are so many different things that you can do without bleaching your hair. The box dye, they always say it's the worst dye, and I pretty much believe it is, especially with that bleaching stuff, because some people do not follow directions, and there are some people who don't pay attention to, timing and type of hair and things, and they damage their hair with that bleach to get the color that they want. But at the end of the day, again, for those of people that are using the box dyes that are not getting to the color that they desire, if you are using a permanent dye of any sort and you are trying to get a vivid color, not a color, just a regular color on top of your head, like you're trying to get this type of red as opposed to this type of red, which you're like, what's the difference? Well, this one is just red. This one is a brighter red. If you're trying to get here, not here, then you want to use semi-permanent. It's going to give you the vivid color. But if you're just trying to get the color on your head, by all means, do the permanent color. Especially if you're that person that wants hair color, but you don't want to have to bleach your hair, use semi. Like, it'll come out in a certain amount of washes. It'll, fade out, and you can go to the next color. Me personally, I live by semi-permanent, and that's been my thing. I do permanent every now and again, but very rare. And what you are seeing me do now is pick my hair. Like I said, I just stick the pick in and pull up, and then I'll go in and then separate it a little bit. But I don't separate it a whole lot because I like some of my strands to be a little bit more defined. Because if I pull it apart too much, then it just starts becoming a frizzy ball. But I did do my edges off camera, which is why they're laid and slayed right now. Because if I would have done it on camera, I would have been like really in the camera trying to look to see what it looks like. So no, I'm not finished. Hold on. I'm about to put my headband on. This is actually a scrunchie. It's not even a headband, but I use it as a headband. It is, I believe, cotton, but I bought it from Target, and look at this. It has no type of band in it whatsoever. Like, it literally is cotton. So literally this works for me. It doesn't leave any harsh things on, like, it doesn't break my hair off wherever I've had it. I will sometimes get a headache because, like I said, this is not meant to be a headband. and my head is kind of big. So, it kind of hurts sometimes depending on how much I've stretched it out, because it's not meant to be a headband, once again. But I still use it as a headband, because why not? It does not pull on my hair like all the other things that I use as a headband that are actually created to be a headband. This works for me. I don't have to worry about my hair being pulled out, and I don't have to worry about it being damaging to wherever I put it. So, if you're a person that's like, I can't find anything that'll stretch, but also be able to be lightweight on my hair, this is it. And like I said, it's a scrunchie, so don't quote me on, oh, it's not a headband. I know it's not a headband, but that's what I use it for, okay? It gives me just the right amount of tightness, and it also, y'all can see my glasses falling down, I'm sorry. And it also, holds, so I don't have to keep rolling it back or anything like that. Like, it stays there all day, and it keeps that hair back, but it also gives you that tension that you need so that your hair does not puff up. So yeah, this is that. I simply just pull apart my hair. No, I'm not that person that sits there and recoils my hair back. I let my hair do what it naturally wants to do. I don't separate it where it naturally wants to separate sometimes. I know that's like y'all gurus thing, but babe, I don't really care about all that. I don't have that type of time. I just separate it somewhere and let it do its thing. Sometimes I will just leave it as is for a day or two, and then the third day I will actually separate it and pick it. It keeps the curls longer, and then I don't have to worry about the frizzies. But yes, I'm the one that creates the frizzies, okay? And yes, I know it. If you just wrap it around your finger, or if you just add product, or if you just leave it alone, then you could have defined curls. I already know that, but I am a rebel, so I do what I want to do. I do what works for me. And to me, the not so uniform looks great on me, and I get compliments on it, okay? So this is what I do. So it gets frizzy, it gets undefined, untamed, but for me, I like that look. Like, that's what I'm going for. I'm going for my hair being stretched, which y'all can see, before and after. Like, it's actually longer than when I actually had it just at its normal state. And obviously this is not its normal state, but I mean, like, fresh out of a twist out or braid out. And I just really go through and pull apart. For those that are like, well, you're breaking your hair. If you would just be gentle. Yeah, you should be gentle. But for me, this is gentle. My hair isn't, like, loose curly. So I have to apply some type of force to get it apart, because it is a little extra when it's dry. And, my hair is also frizzy at the end because it has been bleached, so it's gonna look like that. So I can't do nothing about that, okay? Besides cut it. And like I said, I do mine over a period of time, so at some point in time, my ends do look frizzy, okay? And I'm not so concerned about that. That's fine. I'm not trying to have super defined hair. I just want my hair to be not a whole poof ball, okay? Even though that's what it turns into after a couple days anyway. Other things that I've learned, you do what works for you, for real. That's the main thing that I can not stress enough. Do what works for your hair, what works for your liking, and what works good for, what you're trying to go for. What are you trying to accomplish by doing whatever style that you do, and execute it the way that you want to. Don't let nobody tell you what you can and cannot do. If you want to bleach your hair down to the lowest blonde that you can get it and then dye it, boo, do your thing. But if you're like me and you're like, I don't want to have to do all that, get you some developer and get you that L'Oreal highlight color and use that instead. And still achieve the color you wanna get without having to damage your hair as much as you would if you would add bleach. Yes, there's ways that you can add bleach to your hair and not be super damaging if you went to a salon, but not everybody can afford going to the salon for everything. So if you're doing it at home, better safe than sorry, and just don't use it as much if you don't have to. Okay? For those that ask me how I get my hair to grow a certain way, I don't. It's not me. That's just naturally how my hair grows. It grows at the rate it wants to grow, whether it be fast or slow. And I just accept it and embrace it, really. I don't really do too much to it. Like I said, when it's at this state, I do not comb it. So again, once it's dry, I do not comb my hair. I do not brush my hair. For those that are gonna ask, do you ever comb or brush your hair when you are styling natural hair? No, not me. Some people might. I don't. It don't work for me. It just makes my hair even worse. So I don't. But if you are gonna comb your hair, comb it from the ends to the top or to the root. Don't rake through your hair, meaning comb it from the root to the end. Comb it from the end to the root. I know it may take a little bit more time and a little bit more patience, but your hair will thank you, I promise you. And again, if you're that person that feels like I need to put this, that, and the third on my hand before I go through my hair, do it. But me personally, that first initial me putting oil on my hand actually stays until I finish the rest of my hair. I don't have to keep adding oil to my hand. Like, if you could feel my hand right now, it is still oily, I promise you. Like, the oil that I just used is super thick, so I don't really use a whole lot of it. I apply it once or maybe twice, 3, 4 times sometimes. But for the most part, I don't have to keep applying it to every braid because literally my hand still has some type of oil on it. And plus, I put oil on my hair when I do my twist out and my braid out, so I don't really have to add that much oil to my hair because it already has oil on it. So yeah, hopefully some of these tips, tricks, and things that I'm sharing with you guys is helpful for you. And for those that are gonna ask, what do I put in my hair, and what works for me? Camille Rose and Maille has been my go-to staples. Shea Moisture does nothing for me or my curls. Now I will say the Jamaican castor oil products from her works, but other than that, everything else does nothing for me. So I use Camille Rose, I use Maille. As far as oils is concerned, I use the rosemary oil and the almond oil from Maille. As far as deep conditioners and things of that nature, I do use Camille Rose and Maille. I use the pomegranate line by I think that's Maille. Yeah. I use the Camille Rose. Wow, I'm gonna keep saying it, huh? I use the Maille pomegranate line for the type 4 hair, and that stuff really works for me. When it comes to my color safe hair, I use the Ion Color Safe shampoo. I also use quite a few other things, but for my staple products, I use Camille Rose and Maille. So, and that, like I said, that's the pomegranate and the rosemary line from her I use. I also use the Camille Rose leave-in conditioner. I also use her curl maker, even though sometimes it can get sticky and flaky, so I don't really use it as much. I do use the Mael pomegranate twisting custard or whatever it's called, souffle or whatever the case. The defining gel stuff I don't really use as much because it's a little sticky for me. But I definitely use that. But I definitely rub all of the products that I use in my head through my hand first, and I don't just apply it to my hair because I find that for one, it stretches the product, but it also doesn't make my hair as weighed down if I don't add it directly to my hair from the bottle. And I actually like rub it into my hands first. What else do I use? I use BioSilk, but I think almost everybody uses that nowadays as a heat protectant. Before I blow dry my hair, when I do blow dry my hair, I also use the Chi or She, however you want to pronounce it, Silk Infusion on my hair. I also have the Silk Elements, I think it's coconut oil, I think, spray on my hair as a heat protectant. What else do I use on my hair? As far as my edges is concerned, I use the She Soap Balm edge control. And I also use, just for me, it's in a green and or teal bottle, whatever color you want to say. It's actually for kids, but it's the Curl Peace line, the Edge Smoother, slash Ponytail Smoother. I use them together. I also use the Magic Finger mousse on my hair when I have it to seal my edges. I also use that to seal my braids, the flyaways on my braids as well. What else do I use? But as far as gels and things, I don't really use gel in my hair because it makes my hair flaky, because 9 times out of 10, majority of the leave-in conditioners that I use don't mix well with the edge control. I mean, not the edge controls, but the gels that are out there that I may use on my hair. But at one point, I did use the Extreme Hold in the clear container. I forget what level that is, but I used to use that on my edges to hold them down, and then some mousse on top of that with my She Is Bomb, but I don't have either or, so I haven't used those in a while, but those work as well. And I do have type 4 hair, so like I said, that works for my edges, and as you can see, they are sleek. Sometimes I tie down my edges, sometimes I do not, and they still work. So yeah. What else? Scarves that I use the basic satin scarves. I do not have a satin pillowcase, but I should invest in one. I definitely use a satin bonnet from the hair store. And I definitely use a pick, as you guys saw. I got this pick from Target. It came in a bag, or not a bag, but a package with this one, a bigger one, and then a smaller one for all types. This one works if you have shorter hair, but I still use it because I can't find my big one. I lost it somewhere. Wide tooth combs work as picks as well. You just don't want to comb all the way through if you're gonna use it. What else? Wide tooth combs is a must if you have natural hair. Paddle brushes and things of that nature, Denman brushes and things work well as brushes for our hair. Like I said, always work your way from the bottom to the top. Never go from the top to the bottom. That's why it's really hard for you to comb. Use detanglers and things, but also make sure your hair is wet before you try to comb or brush through your hair. Otherwise, you're gonna look crazy. It ain't gonna work unless you have your hair blow dried. Then yeah, do your thing, but I wouldn't recommend combing through dry hair if your hair is super curly. Don't do it, sis. You're looking for a disaster. And for those that are gonna ask, why do I put the headband on and why don't I just throw it out? Because I like for people to see my edges, because otherwise I look like a little boy. And that's just my personal opinion about me. What else? Do I do my edges at night? No, I do my edges in the daytime. When I wake up. Do I use got to be on my edges? Absolutely the heck not. I don't even use got to be on nothing. Not even a wig, boo. You keep that with you. It smells like alcohol, so why do I want to put that in my hair? No, thank you. It might hold you for real, and you might like it, and that might be your go-to, but babe, I am not doing that to myself, putting no alcohol smell product on my head. No. If I can light a match with it, I definitely don't want to put it in my hair. What the heck? Gorilla snot and stuff, I don't use that on my edges neither, because why would I want to put something that is called gorilla snot on my hair? I don't want to. But if that's your go-to, use it by all means, sis. It just don't work for me. Do I use any other edge control besides She Is Bomb? Absolutely not. It don't work for me. I am a type 4 hair girl, and anything that I put on my hair other than that will make my hair curl up, and that's not what I'm going for. So, no, I don't use any of that stuff. But if it works for you, use it. What else? I'm trying to think anything if I'm leaving it out. And like I said, this was just a get ready with me or a hair takedown chit chat video to let you guys know some of the pros and cons about being natural that I have come across. A lot of people are coming into it now because they're hearing this whole, oh, relaxers make you have cancer and things of that nature. So now everybody wants to be natural. But I've been natural for a very long time. Why? Because it's not easy to maintain in the sense of like there's no work that has to go into it, but it's easier than having to get a perm all the time to, you know, help me keep my curls down. So yeah, I don't want straight hair anymore. I've grown out of that phase. I don't even flat iron my hair at all. I blow dry it, and that's the straightest it's gonna get. And when it's blow dried, it's still not straight. So, yeah. So, if you decide to go natural, sis. But it ain't for everybody. Not everybody has the patience, the time, or the money for it. It can be costly. I will say that, but there's also, like I said, stuff that you can do that won't make it as costly. Braids work well. Twist outs work well. Froze work well. Bonnets and scarves work well as styles for my natural girls. So there's a lot of people that use scarves and things to not just protect their hair, but they also use it as a hairstyle. Do your thing, sis. There are people that wear braids a lot. I wear braids a lot, so I guess that's why my hair is flourishing, because I don't wear my hair out that often. But I do definitely take a break from the braids and things at some point. I don't always wear braids and not give my hair a break. I definitely give my hair a break in between. It may be a couple weeks, it may be months. This particular time, it's been a couple months. And I'm proud of myself because in the last few years, I have not cut my hair other than to trim it. And that is big for me because typically when it gets hot outside, I'm cutting my hair because it's hot and I don't want to deal with it. But since I don't wear my hair out as much, I don't feel the need to want to cut it anymore because I don't really deal with my hair that much. But for those that have the time, the patience, or have the curl pattern to do what they want to do, kudos to you, sis. But me personally, all of this hair, I ain't got time for it. And I don't know if you guys can tell, but as I am doing this, my hair is getting bigger and bigger. And to answer everybody's question of the century of how women get their hair so big, typically there's some type of picking involved or manipulation involved to what's already there. They don't just wake up like that unless they added some type of something to their hair. There's something always added, so never get discouraged if you do something like somebody else does it and you don't get it to how they have it, because your thickness might be a little different, or the way you separate it might be a little different, the way you pick it might be a little different. So you have to learn to figure out, what works for you. But for the most part, everybody's hair is manipulated. Nobody's hair is perfectly curled to a T, or perfectly loose, or perfectly tight. Like, there's something added to it, whether it be a product, a pick, or just it being protected in a protective style, and then they unravel it, and that's the end result. So for those that liked what my hair looked like before, you can keep that, and you don't have to pick it. But for me, I like big hair, and I'm not so focused on my hair being super defined. I like when it looks big and undefined. I like it when it looks unruly. I like it when it looks like an actual fro sometimes. Sometimes I don't like it and I will just let it be defined, but other times I will, make it look a mess, because why not? But it doesn't look a mess because it's nappy. It looks a mess because I just separated my hair. There's a difference between being natural and separating your curls and making it fuller. And then there's, you just haven't combed your hair, and so it's just sitting on top of your head. My hair is not just sitting on top of my hair. It has movement. And if I actually would have combed through my hair, it would have been a lot less than what it looks like right now, because like I said, my hair shrinks. So the more that I pull it out, the more that it actually looks fuller than it actually is sometimes. So there's that. That's a good tip. If you want to make your hair a little bit more fluffier, pick it, separate it. But like I said, you can do it as much or as less as you like. There is no right or wrong way to separate, or whatever the case may be, as long as you do what works for you. People may say, oh, you didn't put oil on your hair and that's the wrong way. Some people don't do all that and still get a good look. So, I mean, that's the ideal thing to do for most curly hair gurus, but some people ain't a guru, so they don't know. What you don't know, I mean, you just don't know. Okay, so sorry, I'm trying to make sure I got everything in the back, because I will forget the back and then be walking around with those random pieces in the back that are super defined and still parted off, because I part my hair when I braid it, so then it looks weird. So I try to get everything to be separated and not just some parts. But I do separate in the front and pick more in the front than I do anywhere else. Is my hair cut in a specific style? Not really. But my hair pretty much grows evenly over time. I will say my front texture is a little different from the back. I mean, not the back, but the crown of my head, and then the back has its own thing that it does. I don't know. But my hair is definitely longer in the back and in the front than it is on the sides and in the middle. So I wear my hair out in a fro a lot, because when I wear it in a like a top poof ball thing, or whatever the case may be, it looks weird, because my hair in the back it doesn't meet up to where the rest of the hair is in the middle. So my hair grows at different lengths at different times when it wants to, so I just embrace it by just letting it all be free. Okay? But I feel like it just looks weird because all of my hair is pretty much even for the most part when I put it in a bun, so I just don't. My hair is too thick to put it in a regular ponytail, so I don't ever slick it back, because my hair, like I said, is even, so it doesn't do all that. The only thing that be slick is the edges. All right, I think I got everything. And it might sound crazy because, like I said, my ends are damaged, of course, because I dyed my hair. But given the fact that my hair was not damaged at the ends, it would probably look a little bit better. But hey, you live, you learn, and you understand that the damage doesn't happen overnight, so it also doesn't leave overnight. And then I go back in with my hands and pull it a little bit. But yeah, this is simply what I do to get my fro. It looks a little bit less defined today because my hair actually got wet yesterday. It rained. And I don't put a hood over my head because I can't. And that sounds crazy, but literally when I put a hood on my head, it just falls off my head because of my fro. So I'm just gonna go through one last time and pick it through. And it sounds crazy and it may look crazy to you, but this is just how I wear my hair, okay? Wear your hair however you please. And there you go. It went from little to big that quick. And no, I am not pulling my hair all the way. The pick all the way through to the end of my hair. I am just pulling it and then pulling it out. And throughout the day, I do have to refluff my hair because due to like getting in the car and other things, like my hair will get smashed occasionally, but I go through and pick it out sometimes. But yeah, this is what it looks like. And it is not no specific curl pattern or anything like that. It is just a fro. Sorry, I gotta see it because it looks different in camera than it does in the mirror. So I'm trying to see if I actually like it. And once it's at least to a point where most of it looks similar, then I just call it. And this is how I wear my hair. And like I said, my curls aren't popping like they were when I first did my hair like days ago because it did get wet. So now my ends are poofy because they dried. But yeah, this is what you get after week-old hair and rain and humidity and trying to put product and things of that nature to bring it back. So this is what it looks like. Hopefully the tips, tricks, and things that I shared is going to help you in your natural hair care journey slash transitioning journey to sorry, I always feel like I got a hole here, but I forgot I got on a hoodie, so my hair is doing its own thing down there at the bottom. But anyway, that's all I got for you guys. So hopefully that helps somebody that is thinking about being natural. Before going natural, please keep in mind that it is work and it's not just a quick 1-2. It's not a just I spray water on my hair and walk out the door. It's not a just I put these products on my hair and then it gives me the perfect whatever the case may be. It's trial, it's error, it's work, it's energy, it's time consuming. It could be costly. So keep all that stuff in mind before you decide to do one of these numbers and be like, you know what, I want hair like that, I want this, I want that, and then you get into it and you're like, nah, that ain't really what I wanted. So if this is not what you have time for, if you don't have the patience, if you don't even like to sit there for hours to do your hair, babe, natural ain't for you. I promise you it ain't. Do locks or something that you don't really have to do too much to. But as far as wearing your natural curls, babe, yeah, you're gonna have to put in the work, the time, the energy, and the effort. It takes time to perfect different things, but it also takes time to get those twist outs and braid outs, mantua knot things down packed. Plus, it takes time to just do it in general. It took me like an hour and a half to put all them plaits in that y'all seen last night. This morning, like y'all just seen that this morning, it took me like hours last night to do all those plaits. And that wasn't perfect sectioning or perfect braiding or perfect plaiting, babe. That was just me sitting here in this chair, plait my hair, and I ain't have no mirror, no nothing. I'm just sitting here plaiting my hair while I was watching TV because I didn't want to sleep on my hair while it was wet. Like I said, I didn't want it to dry like that. So it dried like this, and this is what you get. And my hair is not colored. I haven't colored my hair in a minute, so it is faded and the color is gone pretty much. So that's why it also looks like this. Mind your business. Come for your mama, not me, because I will dye my hair eventually. I just haven't. I was giving my hair a break from all that it had going on. Love you guys. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys want me to do a part 2 or a really in-depth or a really step 1, step 2, pros, cons, or specific video tailored toward natural hair and things of that nature, please let me know. If you guys want me to show you the actual products and stuff next time, let me know. I will do so. But for more videos like this, or if you have any ideas or suggestions or more videos that you guys would like from me or content you guys would like from me, please drop it in the comments below and I will definitely take those into consideration. If you learned anything, if anything you try and you like it or it works for you or it did not work, let me know in the comment section. If you like my hair how it is, let me know, because y'all, I be fighting with myself every day like, bro, I do not like this. Ooh, I need to dye my hair. Ooh, I need to cut it. Ooh, it looks damaged. Oh, this. But there's a lot of people that be like, oh my God, what you do to your hair? And I'm just like, if only you knew. But yeah, so I don't do a whole lot. This is all that you get. This is all that I have. Like I said, I did my edges off camera. Yes, they laid and slayed only because I put a scarf on last night. No, I put it on this morning because like I said, they got wet yesterday. But normally I wouldn't put a scarf on it. I would just put mousse on it, and the mousse will literally lay down the edge control. She is bomb, and I would be slaying and laying all day. But I'm out of mousse, so I've had to put a scarf on it, unfortunately. But yeah. Anyway, love you guys. Thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, share this with a friend, and also let me know what you guys want moving forward. I'm trying to get more consistent. I'm trying to get back on here, but I never know what I want to post. I don't do a whole lot of challenges or pranks or things like that because I literally am outside of my house 95% of the time and by myself 95% of the time. I don't have a boyfriend. I don't have a group of friends down here. I'm in Atlanta, or I'm in Georgia, let's say that. If you guys want to collab on stuff, we definitely can. If you guys want to send me products to review, if you guys want me to review a certain style, a certain product, let me know. If you guys want to see me style my hair and do my hair more often, I will definitely try to record. It's a pain because a lot of times I actually use my iPad to see my hair. I don't have a 3-way mirror. I use Snapchat. Yeah, I use Snapchat. But other than that, anything you guys would like from me, please drop it in the comments. If you actually like this video, hit like. If you guys want to see other things on this channel, let me know. Try not to make this just a hair channel because obviously I do more things than just hair. But yeah, I got y'all. I do. I'm trying to be back and better. I say that every time I hop on one of these videos and then you guys don't see me for months or years at a time. I'm sorry. I have a life happening. But yeah, there are more videos to come. So if you see me in this hoodie again today or whenever you see this video, is because I did multiple videos in one day. No, I'm not wearing this hoodie again in the same week, okay? Love you guys.